I got bullied at school, and I got bullied for various reasons. I was that fresh AF kid with the bowl trim, and that's why I got bullied, and obviously was poor. And I always make a point of saying that, you know, my mum used to tell me not to fight back. If somebody hear you, go and tell the teacher, go and tell the teacher, go and tell Miss Augustine. So somebody would hit me, or someone would abuse me emotionally or verbally. And remember, there isn't a scar when someone's taking the pee out of you in front of everybody. There's not a bruise. And sometimes I mention that form of abuse can be worse than even being hit. So there's times when they'll cuss me in school. And obviously I would like to go to the teacher and say, oh, so-and-so called me a name. Do you know the stupid song the teacher sang to me? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm you. That is the most ridiculous, whatever, I don't know what you call that, nursery rhyme, school rhyme, whatever in the world. Yeah, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never harm you. What the hell? Those words harm me more than anything else. And if I was back in school, yeah, see this bottle here? The way it will collide. But yeah, that little boy, young boy, he's now lost his finger. And when I saw that on the gram, yeah, I sat there and said, what kind of trauma is that young boy going to go through now where he's going to have no finger for the rest of his life? He's now going to have a prosthetic finger put in place. And this is a boy who's been bullied for no reason. There's never a reason for bullying. And I always say, and I make a point, and people get onto me because I mentor a lot of young children, especially in Birmingham. And I make a point of saying to them, and some of the parents don't like it when I say, if someone punches you, punch them in the face. You just make sure that they punched you first, and someone's around to say that they punched you first. Defend yourself. When I was getting bullied in school, my mum used to tell me, don't hit them, don't hit them. The bullying did not stop until the one day that I beat up the bully. And then after I beat up the bully, I never got bullied again. And obviously, the results may vary. It might not work for everybody. You might try and beat the bully up and you get chokehold and choke slammed. But the thing is sticking up for yourself. And the baddest thing is that no one likes a grass or a snitch in school. They call it grassing. No one likes one. But yet, you're going to go to the teacher, and the moment you start going to the teacher, if that bully has got so much ground or so much shoulders in that school, he can make everybody in that year group not like you. And that's the thing about schooling, is that the bullying thing is so hard. And I make a point of saying, parents, tell your children, if someone hits them, punch them back in the face. You got to punch them in the face. This whole tell the teacher thing, it doesn't work. And bless this little boy who's done the right things. The mum has done the right things. She's gone to schools, told everybody about what's going on, and no one's done anything. And that's why with bullying, it leads from the workplace right into the work. So it leads from the school right into the workplace. I know people who were bullied from school who up until now have no personality because of the things that happened to them in school and the trauma they've gone through. And it's very important that when these things happen, especially with young boys and young girls, you let the teachers know, first of all, this is what's happening. And if it's not happening, that boy, I know you're going to look at me like violence isn't good. Sometimes someone needs to get their head bust. I'm sorry. There's a levels to the amount of abuse you can take until you lash out. I know we were talking about domestic violence earlier, but the difference between a fight and domestic violence, if someone's hitting you, you've got to defend yourself. Do you know what I mean? And it gets to a point where I got bullied at school, and then I then beat up the bully and then joined the bullies and started bullying. And that's how bad it was that, imagine I was being bullied. I already knew what it was like to be bullied, but then I then decided to then join the bullies. Why did I join the bullies? Primarily because I wanted to feel that I belonged to a group. Why did I join the bullies? Maybe because I wanted to feel protected. And some of these young boys that join gangs right now, they don't actually want to be in gangs, but they want to be protected. Even grown adults now are hanging around people they don't like for protection. I repeat, even grown men right now that I know are hanging around with people they don't like just for protection. They're in gangs now because of protection. And that's what happened to me as a young boy. Being 8, 9, joining a gang because I wanted to feel protected. I was getting bullied. I'm doing the right thing. I'm telling my mum. I'm telling the teachers. Nothing's happening. So in the playground that day, the guy swung for me. Obviously, you know, I'm nim. Yeah, man. I started obviously because I can dance. It wasn't even boxing I was doing at first. I was just break dancing for him. So when he was hitting me, I was just break dancing, and then I clipped him, and he dropped. And you know, in school, everyone goes, "Oh!" And even me, I was like, "Oh!" You know, like the joy. Even now, I'm smiling. The joy in my head that day when I punched the boy and he couldn't get up. That day, he was like, I don't know how to explain it. You know, like when the manager is like, they've won the Champions League and he's walking and all the fans are celebrating. That's how I walk through the school. Even when I got in trouble, when I got in trouble and I finally got back in the classroom, everyone looked at me and I walked in there like I was Rocky, like I was Sylvester Stallone. I walked into the room like this. But that's the thing about being bullied, that young boy, I literally, and I looked at the post, I read it, I thought, oh, this is another bullying case. And I saw he lost his finger. the whole school needs to, like, in fact, let me not say anything that's going to sound, but yeah, the teachers in that school, I don't want to say anything inflammatory. I'm just going to leave it as that. But a child goes to school, he's getting bullied, and then loses his finger. Yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing about bullying. I said before, you teach people how to treat you. You got to nip things in the bud straight away. There shouldn't be any allowance or chance. And sometimes people say that I cut people off too quick. And my thing is that if I see something happen and I don't like it, and it happens again, I'm tapping out. And I say you do the same to me. If I do something that you don't like, you give me maybe one chance. You know, the second chance, you got to say, listen, mate, it's not an accident anymore. Like, this is you. This is how you do it. And all the red flags we talk about, typically they're there from the beginning. But because we so want to start this business, we so want to start this relationship, we so want to do this, we ignore all the red flags. Even when it comes to business, you meet somebody, they're always late, never on time, they don't seem trustworthy. But because you want that money or that business so much, you go into it, only to now discover that everything that seemed too good to be true is too good to be true. And that's the biggest problem with us, that sometimes our desperation makes us be resilient in situations that we shouldn't be resilient in. And that's one thing, I don't know how to word it, but it's very important to understand, again, that I don't believe in things always pan out. I don't do all that hocus pocus energy stuff. But at some point, you've got to realize that this isn't for you. You know, even when it comes to the bullying this young boy, it's sad because I don't know what trauma this young boy is going to go through the rest of his life now that his finger's missing for a reason that doesn't belong to him. The fact that, you know, these young children just feel that they can find someone they can pick on and take it out on them. And you got to think of what are the things they're going through at home. Because obviously, I mentioned the other day that these children are a product of us. Everything that's going on in this world right now that's wrong, it's us adults that have done that. They've seen it. We're the television they're watching. And this is the immediate, the primary television they're watching. They're seeing what we're doing and they're copying it. All the trauma that they've gone through as a result of us adults is what they're just reliving. And they say, does music imitate art? Or so does music imitate life, or does art imitate life? If you've got kids rapping about drill music, you got to understand, where's this coming from? Are they just making it up, or are they literally rapping about their lives? Like, and if this is what they're experiencing, is it not just their story? Don't get me wrong, there are some people who are not living that life and they're just rapping about nonsense. But some people are actually living this life. They're actually having to roll around with guns and knives and they're rapping about it. And is it right? I can't speak on that. But what I will say though, is that drill music, or should I say gangster music, isn't the reason we've got the problems in this society right now. It might be what is escalating it, but it's not the root problem. There is a problem, and the root problem is deeper than drill music. Do I know what the answer is to the problem? No. What I will say though is that a lot of the stuff that these children are going through, we're to blame. And we can sit here and pretend and start blaming the youths. We're to blame. So a lot of you have heard me talk about the restaurant, and if you haven't been before, I'm going to show you it now.